Wake up, pre-health sharks. It is time once again for our monthly webinar, Wake Up Pre-health Sharks. My name is Emilio Lorenzo, and we have a few experts on the call today who are going to be sharing their insight. As always, Wake Up Pre-health Sharks, we tackle various pre-health topics to help you as a pre-health student reach your goals. Today we have an exciting one and a really valuable one. We're going to be talking about a resource known as Student Doctor Network and how it can be valuable for you as a pre-health student. But before we dive into that, I'm going to let our experts introduce themselves, and then we'll dive into our topic for the day.
Thank you, Emilio. Hi, everyone. My name is Gabby Gross, and I'm an Edge Advisor in the CAPS department, and I'm excited to be back this month to discuss Student Doctor Network.
And hello, everybody. My name is Daniela Caracas Suarez. I go by Danny, and I'm one of the career advisors in CAPS. And it's always nice whenever Emilio refers to us as experts. What the biggest compliment from Emilio.
It is very true. We've now coming up on a year of doing this webinar and truly experts. We have had 3 knowledge experts sharing their insights, and we hope to be offering this many more years to come. I was going to say months, but I'll go with the whole year. So to start off with, Student Doctor Network is obviously a website, but it's a website that encompasses every area of pre-health. So whether you're interested in medical, dental, pharmacy, optometry, podiatry, veterinary medicine, you're a psychology major, it provides resources, articles, sample interview questions directly from students who've gone through it. It has specific details on admissions requirements for different, professional schools. It has message boards. So you sometimes are probably thinking, oh, I haven't found a shadowing opportunity, or what am I going to do about my gap year? And you're probably thinking you're the only one facing these issues. But in reality, many pre-health students are dealing with the same type of things. And being able to be around like-minded individuals can not only calm yourself a little bit, but it could also give you avenues you're not thinking about to help deal with those type of issues or questions. So we're going to talk about how this site can be really impactful for you. How you can look at the message boards, what type of resources, how do you navigate it? Because it does have a lot of different things involved. And then really being able to share why this could be valuable for you. So I thought this was a good introduction into what the website is and why it's valuable. But I'll turn it over to one of our experts and we'll dive into some specific areas on the site.
Great. Thank you, Emilio. Yeah, and I have found this website immensely helpful for tons of my pre-health students. I think it can also be maybe a misconception for a lot of students thinking it's just for people who want to go to med school or become physicians. But as you can see from all these tabs, it really ranges on a lot of different specialties within healthcare. So the first tab I'll even go into is the forums tab. So it might look familiar for any of my students here who are maybe familiar with Reddit or other forums where you can scroll down and find different chats and see questions that people post. So looking through this, it's really great because you're seeing a lot of students in your same shoes asking questions you probably have on your mind, or probably questions you didn't even think of that you have yet. I've seen a huge range of questions that students have asked me in appointments, in career development appointments, and tons of students who are either current dental students, current med students. They really come on here and they want to serve as mentors and answer a lot of the questions that students have. So just looking through all of this, we see that there's pre-med forums, medical student, dental, optometry, pharmacy. Really, there's a whole range of so many different healthcare specialties. And not just that, but if you scroll down, you'll also see underrepresented populations in healthcare. So even if you are, for example, underrepresented LGBT women in healthcare, and I've seen a good number of international students also turn to Student Doctor and ask different questions about how to be competitive, what they should look at when looking at their applications and what schools are maybe considering them the most. So looking through all of these, you'll find the forums that might suit the questions you have best. As a sample, let's see, we'll click through one of the dental ones. So we'll look at pre-dental. So you click the category that you'd like to see what students are posting. And you can find some sub forums. And really here is where people post the questions and the titles that they have. So, and you can see the replies that are going on the right-hand side. So let's say we have need some guidance on increasing GPA. because that's definitely one of those academic pillars we've talked about before in some of our past sessions here. So students will bring up their situation, ask a question based on their situation, and you'll find a lot of mentors or current dental students coming on and answering questions and giving really helpful advice. So that's why I really like the forums piece here. And one tool that I think is a great piece to utilize, if you have your own question that you just can't seem to find anywhere, but you want to search for it, there's a little magnifying glass on the right-hand side of this page. And if you click that, you can search something like, let's say gap year is the question that you have. So I'll click search, and I'll be able to find some past forums that people have written about gap years, some considerations when it comes to gap year before medical school, et cetera. Some are very relevant, as you can see. There's a question here about COVID gap year. And so looking at that, you can see forums that people have already started using to talk about taking a gap year due to the pandemic and what kind of implications that means. So the next tab I'll look into is going to be articles. So articles, they are, very resourceful, similar to forums. However, they're written in a much more formal sense. Forums are written more by students, questions that can be answered, whereas articles are written by the people who are contributing to studentdoctor.net, usually professionals who want to update you on what's going on in the industry. So looking at these articles, it's a great way for you to stay updated and really have a leg up when you're going to your med school applications and they ask you something like, what's an industry trend you are concerned about? Or what are some new industry trends you've been keeping up with? So looking at these articles, it's a great way for you to continue to stay updated, see different things like, let's see if I can find one as an example. In-flight emergencies, what you need to know, campus dorm resident assistance. You find a lot of different helpful information that keeps you really posted. And you'll see the next tab right up here. It's actually a part of articles. It's called interviews. So what's under interviews are really articles written about different professionals in healthcare, and it's basically like an informational interview with them. So you'll find like young physicians, young pharmacists, MDs, Q&As with different professionals. And if you click through these, you'll find these physicians or these dentists, whatever it is, answering a lot of the questions that probably you are curious to know about these professionals. You can hear about why they went into medicine, what surprised them about med school, why they specialized. And a lot of times they talk about the day-to-day of what it's like to be in that profession. So reading through a lot of these interviews and these articles can be super insightful for you to see if that's, the specialty you want to head into, or maybe someone you want to talk to in the future. So I really like looking through these three pieces up here. And I'm going to pass it along to one of our other experts to go into the fourth one, professions.
All right, thanks, Danny. So I'm a bit biased, but I think that the professions tab is the best tab on the website. So if you can, actually, you could stick there to dentistry. The professions tab is really awesome because it basically breaks down a couple of different healthcare professions for students to look more into. I will say it doesn't have every single healthcare profession, but it does have the most popular ones, I would say. So if we click on dentistry, kind of using the same dental theme that we've been on so far, you can see there's a lot of different information for students who are either interested in going to dental school or maybe even students that are already in dental school looking to go towards residency and beyond. So I want to stick to just talking a little bit more about the right-hand side here. Dan, if you can click to where it says how I can prepare for dental school interviews, that top one. So if you click learn more, okay, so this for sure is like the best part I would say about Student Doctor Network. And I don't know if you, Emilio and Danny, agree, but this breaks down all of the different dental programs and just a lot more information about them and feedback from students. So Dan, if you can scroll down a little bit, it just shows a bunch of information of all these different programs, and actually just scroll up a little, sorry. Scroll all the, okay, perfect. So it shows like the tuition, feedback, average EAT score, average GPA. And if you click on any of these schools, so we can use the first one, Louisiana State University, perfect. Okay, so now it goes into more detail about these institutions and their dental programs. And if you scroll down, it gives a lot of specific information on the interviews and what people say about those specific dental interviews. I know it's showing, there's typically some like data that's popping up there, but it also shows questions, which I think is amazing because a lot of the time students go into interviews very blind, not really knowing, what will be asked. And a lot of students go on to here and post the questions that they're asked, post feedback, and it's just awesome to look through before or while you're preparing for a dental school interview or any sort of healthcare interview. So if we want to go up, Danny, just going back to that main page. Oh, now it's showing the data. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, it always takes a little bit to load up.
Yeah, I love how it shows, all of that data just spread out there for students to see, ranking, the stress level. I think, I mean, who isn't stressed going into an interview, but it does, show great feedback of students. So if we scroll up actually back to that main page of, if you go back, probably you can go back to the main page.
All right.
Back one more time. Back one more time. I know we clicked on a bunch of different things.
So much depth.
I know, so much depth. Okay, so now, like I said, I'm biased. I think that that's an amazing resource as part of, showing more information about dental programs and how the student can prepare. But if we click on the second one, how do I get into dental school? This actually gives students access to a step-by-step guide of more information of how to get into the school of their choice. So it shows an overview, DAT resources, how to prepare for interviews, specific information about the school and applicants, and you can right there click a free guide with all of this information. And this is available for all of the different professions that are listed on this site. So that's a really great resource. Dana, if we want to go back to the main page too. All right. Okay, so then the last one, what do successful dental school applicants look like? So this is a really great resource as part of this page as well, because it shows just a community where you can go if you are a dental school applicant, and you can type in criteria to find in more information on your student profile and what it says on kind of where you're at with your GPA or status, or even like if you want to be more specific, like your science GPA and DAT scores, things like that. And if we scroll down, Danny, I think it shows a little bit more. Okay, so it just shows, I think similarly to like the forums that we were talking about, like it just shows more information of students and what they say about different interviews. So if we go back, I do want to show two more things as part of the main professions dental page. Okay, so this first piece, articles. Okay, so if we stop here, so these are just articles about the dental profession. So if you're interested in learning more, this is where you can find more information on articles. I think if you are a student that is looking to go into any of these health professions, but using dentistry as an example, I would say definitely be looking into these articles before you go into an interview or anything like that, because that way you have a little bit more of an idea of what's going on in the dental field, what are the trends, things like that, so that you feel better prepared. And if we scroll down, Danny, okay, awesome. So this is really great too. These are Q&As, and I would almost compare them to informational interviews with individuals in the field of the profession, that you've selected. So, we're on dentistry here. So here are some question and answer forums of individuals that are in the field of dentistry. If you see this first one here, this is a student in oral and maxillofacial surgery. And I clicked on this one actually before when I was doing a little bit more research. And it gives really, and Danny, if you mind just clicking on that real quick, I want to show how it gives really in-depth answers to certain questions. So right here is an informational interview that you can read just to get more insight of students who have been in your shoes or are going to be in the shoes that you will be in soon when applying to any of these different programs. All right, yeah, so if you want to go back to the main page, I want to see if there's anything else I want to discuss. Okay, scroll down. Okay, so I think that's it. But like I said, super biased. I think that professions is really awesome because it does narrow down, all these different popular healthcare fields and gives more information and explanation for students to look into.
Yeah, that's a great one. I'll give you some credit. This one is just as valuable, I would say, as forums and articles.
Like I said, I'm biased.
Some really good things. Again, sometimes the most scary part of an interview is the unknown, as Gab mentioned, and just having all these resources available to you, knowing admissions requirements. Some of this can really put you at ease and give you a goal to kind of strive towards. So everything great. Danny, let's take a look at the resources. So obviously everything we've looked at so far have been resources, but the resources tab kind of gives you a quick hit on all these different pieces. So you could see if you start scrolling down, it gives all professions, articles, essay workshops. And then I kind of like the study tools that it provided. Obviously the MCAT ones, but then it has some more specific ones based on specialties and others. So these can also be beneficial for you, not only to have a goal in mind, but it kind of supports you through kind of the prepping for MCATs and other pre-professional tests.
Mhm.
Similar for,
I was going to
what
say,
was
I
that,
was
Gabby?
looking at the about tab to see what's what it shows. Okay, so this just
The
shows about the
is-
website.
Yeah, it shows really how it started, their mission and values, and it's really great to see it, how it expanded in the past 21 years, to see how active students have been on it.
So there's a lot
Yeah.
of things to really support you as a pre-health student on here. I always say you got to stay up to date in so many different things as a pre-health student. You know, are you moving forward with your, as we call them, the 5 pillars to get into the school? Or do you, if you're closer to the goal, have you started looking at how to prepare for the interviews, the admissions process? Do you have the necessary GPA? Should you consider a gap year? Kind of saying it out loud, it kind of combining all the topics we've kind of explored throughout the year, from shadowing to the research, to preparing the interviews, and evaluating if a gap year is right for you. But being able to do that where you could get questions answered from your peers from other programs, being able to share your worries, your concerns, and maybe other individuals sharing other avenues to mediate those concerns. That's what makes this site so valuable. It really is, at the heart of it, a pre-health all-in-one package for yourself. Obviously, you have a lot of other resources you should leverage, but this is a good way of staying up to date on articles, especially even with COVID going on, being able to learn about how the application process or other aspects have been different. But it's an all-in-one website that has a lot of great resources for you as a pre-health student. And we hope that us kind of walking through some different areas of it have illuminated its benefits, but also helped you kind of show how to navigate the site itself.
Definitely. I highly recommend for all pre-health students to really bookmark this website and really just have fun exploring around. You'd be surprised because there are so many students experiencing very similar things, like, wanting to find those virtual shadowing opportunities or whatever it might be. So really exploring this and seeing you're not alone in a lot of these questions that you have, I think is a really nice thing to experience with other students around the country.
Ditto, Danny. I was going to say, you're not alone if you're a student who thinks that, you're having the same struggles or you're trying to find more information about interviews or anything specific. Please go on this website and look it up. There's just so much great information to be read.
Really great. So thank you again for joining us for our last pre-health Sharks of 2020. We will be back on in January, where we tackle another pre-health topics, and we have some exciting ones coming up on how do you plan for your spring success, applying to professional school, interview skills, really a lot of things to assist you in as you go on this road. But that's what we're here. We want to support you as pre-health Sharks, and hoping you reach that mountaintop of getting to medical school, dental school, or any of your health profession passions. So until next time, wake up, pre-health Sharks, and look forward to seeing you at our next webinar.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.